Welcome to Sips with Scrubs, a nurse podcast where we talk about the good, bad, and ugly of being a nurse. It's been a long time, y'all. We've not spoken since one-on-one since before when I was pregnant. So today actually is going to be a catching up episode. I'm going to let you guys know how my last few months of pregnancy was, how my delivery was, the maternity leave, and then like fast forwarding to like returning to bedside and things of that nature. So if you guys are interested in that material, definitely stay tuned as we get into that later on in today's episode. As you guys can see, we're joined with special guest Jordan again. She just can't stay away. She wants to see what mommy's doing all the time. She doesn't want to take her nap when she's supposed to. And like my podcast room is now her nursery. So like she's supposed to be taking a nap. I was trying to leave her downstairs, but sis wasn't going for that. And I think a little bit of it has to do with the fact that I worked yesterday. So she's like, I need mommy. So I tried to leave her down there while I was getting dressed. And yeah, your girl, she wasn't having it. Then I was like, okay, let me bring her upstairs with me, put her in her crib while I record. But no, she want to be where I'm at. So you're where mommy's at. Are you okay with that? So, all you moms out there, I know you guys will understand that she's joining us for today's episode. So if y'all hear some whining, crying, I know y'all understand. It'd be the people without kids that don't get it because I know people get a little annoyed. So if that's you, you might have to go ahead and click off because I don't know what she gonna give. You never know what kids are gonna give. So here we are. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. Okay. Either I'm not gonna be dressed or she gonna be with me. It's just no getting you look, this is where we at. Okay. I'm making it work. So as we proceed with today's episode, the thing we're gonna be sipping on throughout today is Stella Rosa. This is the dark red or whatever that darker the black bottle. This is the non-alcoholic version. So I'm currently still breastfeeding, so I have to be like careful with the timing of when I drink and stuff because I don't be wanting to waste my milk. So I be timing it just right. She eats now every 4 hours. So if I feed her and then have a drink right after that, then I'm usually okay until like the next feed, especially since now we're like incorporating solids and whatnot. But this is the non-alcoholic version because we are pressed for time and I'm going to have to feed her again in a bit. So, girl, you go skip your whole nap because it's getting late. You go sleep in the car. Don't touch mommy's mic. Thank you. So yeah. So we're on the non-alcoholic version. If you are a sweet wine drinker and you need a substitute, if you're pregnant or not drinking for whatever reason, definitely check it out. All of their non-alcoholic wines taste exactly like the alcoholic ones. So I think I'm gonna dive deeper into like exploring more non-alcoholic wine options for when I do want a little something, something, and for when I'm like gonna get pregnant again, just so that I can have something. So this is one of the main ones that I drank while I was pregnant, and like sitting in my tub after a long day of work, it felt nice to feel like I was having a glass of wine. So this is what we'll be sipping on throughout today's episode. Before we get into today's topic, we'll do a conversation card. So let's see what's at the top of the deck. What do you tell yourself in order to get through a difficult shift? So nowadays I've been splitting my shifts up still, so I don't always work back to back. So that kind of helps me because with that comes timing. So I literally just be counting down the hours, be like, okay, like we halfway through the day, like, oh, like the day is already almost done. Like just do this one more task and you can sit down. Those sorts of things. I'm also like, I guess a stress eater. So if I am having a difficult shift, sometimes I'll be like, all right, I'm about to go get me some hot fries from downstairs, or I'll like order some Uber Eats or something to have something to look forward to. Usually those are some of the things that I do. My tolerance, I guess, for difficulty is a little more now that I've been through a lot of stuff in nursing. So that's pretty much all I do. I don't really say much else outside of that. If you guys have anything that you tell yourself to help yourself get through a difficult shift, go ahead and drop it down below in the comments so that we can share with others for their time of need. So, as I mentioned before, we're going to be going back to when I was about 8-9 months pregnant. I did work up to 36 weeks pregnant, just because I always told myself I never wanted to be one of those nurses who was working until she was literally having the baby. And luckily I didn't, because I ended up having her at 38 weeks pregnant. So I literally had 2 weeks off prior to having a baby. And then I know people always want to have maternity leave on the back end so they can spend more time at home with the baby. But I also wanted some on the front end, because it's just like, of course, your life is forever changed after that moment. So I didn't know what that would look like, because she's my first child. So I was like, I want to be able to rest, not do anything for a little bit, get the house together how I want, make sure we have everything, and things of that nature. So I stopped at 36 weeks. Up until that point, for those who are not familiar with me, I am a PRN float nurse. So my requirements for my shifts in the 6 weeks period is 9. So what I was able to do is, like, earlier, maybe like 7 or 8 months or whatever it was, I was working like more shifts on that end. And then like towards the end, I had it spaced out where I was only doing like 1 shift a week. So doing it that way really helped me out a lot, because of course I didn't want to go to work, but I was like having to tell myself, oh, that kind of correlates with the card, right? So at that time I was having to tell myself, like, give myself incentives to go to work. So I'll buy like some of my favorite snacks. I told you I'd be stress eating. So I had like a nothing but cake. I had the cookies and cream Hershey's bar, hot fries, of course. Those are some of the things that I like wrote on the bags and the wrappers of like the dates of when I go to work so that I could eat them. So I actually kind of started getting like more energy. And then I kind of like was like, all right, I don't want to do this no more. So when I did have the energy, I was like, okay, well, while I have the energy, let me go ahead and work more than I intended to, just because I knew that probably like later I wouldn't want to. So that's what I did. That I really liked that I did that, because like I said, she ended up coming earlier than expected. So that really worked out in my favor. And the next time I do plan on having a kid, I think I'm going to do something similar to that, because I feel like I'm going to stay in this float pool position for a while, just because it allows me the flexibility to do what I need to do. I can do my schedule however I want, and the pay is really good. So, yeah. So that's how the last month of pregnancy went. It wasn't that bad because I did it that way. And like I said, I'm definitely probably going to do something akin to it again for the next time I'm pregnant. Now, my situation with maternity leave was a little bit different because I am PRN. So I don't have any PTO, so I couldn't utilize that. I had to apply for short-term disability. And that was a whole thing, having to fill out paperwork, making sure my doctor's office sent the forms over. And they were really annoying with that, because I was on it because I didn't know like what it entailed, because as I said before, it's my first kid. So I was like, girl, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm emailing people. I'm trying to double check with other people, see what they did. And I'm like, okay. So I got the forms, like I did my part with some of the stuff like in December. She was due in February. So I did that stuff in December. And then I had the forms ready to go in January, because I think it was like a time frame or something like that for when I had to turn in the documents. So I ended up doing that in January. But I had sent my doctor's office their stuff early, and them people, they never sent it. I kept asking like, hey, did you send it in? Because the people like said they haven't received it, and I kept like asking them over and over again. Y'all, look, I said I don't have time for this. Figure it out. So I ended up getting them in when I needed to. It literally was like a couple of weeks before she came, they finally did their part. I don't know what the lag time was, because now that I didn't work in the clinic, we be doing this stuff right away when people be like, can you fax this to these people and stuff? Because I don't be want to mess with people's time. So that happened, and with that, I think I had 2 months and some change off or something. That's not enough time. 3 months is not enough time. I just at least needed, like, I was like, I'm not going back to work until she get her first rounds of shots. So whenever that was, like a couple weeks after that, I think I returned to work. But as y'all know, since I said I was PRN and I could work like one shift a week if need be, that's what I ended up doing again. So on my return to work, I was working one shift a week. And of course, that gives me a whole bunch of time off in the middle. And with that, it really wasn't that difficult returning to work because I was kind of like antsy to like walk and like move around and do stuff like that. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? So yeah. What I was telling y'all about. Oh, so I returned to work like in like 2 months. I think it was like it might have been close to three, if not three. It was something of the sort because I knew like I had clearance by the doctor to go back to work at that time, and I was already like, all right, I guess I could go back. But of course, I didn't want to because I don't ever want to go to work. Let's be for real. So that happened. Returning to work wasn't horrible, but like, of course, I was like very deconditioned. Even though I was walking like throughout my pregnancy, even up until I had her and after, I was still walking. But like, I was deconditioned from like doing anything for that length of time. Y'all know 12-hour shifts go crazy. And of course, like, why on my first day back, I was in the freaking ER. Like, be for real. So I did that. I just kind of tried to do what I did before on my last couple of months of pregnancy, sit down when I needed to, cluster care, that sorts of thing. But hey, I made it. And then like I think I might have did a month of working 1 week, one shift a week. And then I went to the radiation clinic. So with that, I did a what is it called? A contract with them. So with my folk pool, they kind of like try to like do us like agency nurses and travel nurses so that basically they're saving money because they're not paying them. They're paying like their own staff, and of course we're trained because we are their employees and things of that nature. So I took a long-term contract with them because one of their nurses was going on maternity leave. So I was over there for 3 months. And it wasn't that bad, but I definitely found out Monday through Friday is not for me. I don't like it. It was a lot of time away from her. With how it worked out is that like I was leaving the house before she was waking up, and then by the time I was returning, it was time for her to go to bed. So I didn't get to spend a lot of time with her. So imagine that, like Monday through Friday, barely seeing your kids. So I was like, no, like I know a lot of people think Monday through Friday is good for scheduling purposes for kids, but if you have small kids, I wouldn't say that. Maybe if they're like school age, it'd be better. One of the pros with the clinic though is that it was very like um, less physical labor, less mentally demanding. Um, but with that being said, if you are thinking that it's even a possibility for you to return to bedside, you might have a hard time transitioning back because after you're like in that mode for so long, I think you start to lose your skills. Even though like you know how to do it, knowing how to do it and doing it is two different things. And you don't get the practice that you need at the clinic because with us, it literally was come in, get the patients, weigh them, put them in a room, get their vital signs, and that was it. Like the doctor did the physical examination, so we didn't actually truly assess them. We would like update their allergy and medication list, and that was pretty much it. So in the grand scheme of things, like you ain't really doing nothing for real. Like as far as nursing care goes, charting of course is less is a different system than inpatient nursing. So the charting was completely different. But as far as like skills, we didn't even give them meds, like nothing, because with the radiation clinic, not only did we see patients that were consulting to see if they needed the radiation. And then also we did follow-up patients who have already been treated with radiation and we're trying to check on them like a regular doctor appointment, see how they were doing like after treatment. We also had patients currently getting treated that we saw too. So it's like, I don't know. It's just like you don't give them any meds. So like if they're nauseated or if they have any like constipation or anything like that, the doctor would just prescribe them a prescription to get from their pharmacist, and they would just go to their pharmacy to get the medication, and that was it. So we didn't even have a Pyxis down there. So it's like, with that being said, it's like I could see like you're losing a lot of your nursing skills by doing a specialty clinic like that. So as with everything, it had its pros and cons. But that definitely, like I said, if you're thinking about returning to bedside nursing after doing something like that, it definitely might be a little bit of a learning curve going back, because you don't get to utilize your skill. Like I'm just not getting my IV and blood drawing skills back, and I used to be really good at that because I used to work nights. So with the radiation clinic, like I said, there's lots of pros and cons. It really just depends on what you're looking for. But with me and my lifestyle, and like I said, it includes lifestyle, because really it's like her and scheduling and stuff. It's a no for me, dog. But it was cute though. They asked me like, did I want to like would I consider working there full time? Which I don't know how, because they're fully staffed. But hey, that ain't my business if you want to come up with the money. But I told them no, because like I already talked about with the time, but I asked the nurses like how much they get paid, and they get paid as much as I used to. Well, it was a lateral transfer of pay there. So they get paid as much as they used to on the floor. But for me, that's like a significant pay cut, because I'm PRN and I'm float pool. So with that, I'm like, I'm not taking a pay cut to work here. Like, and it's not like hours I like for real. Um, Actually working 8 hours is cool, but like I said, Monday, Fridays, no. So my only consideration would have been like if it was a part-time situation or something of the sort. Like I could work 3 days here and that's it. But I'm not getting like me and Kelsey kind of had this talk on the last episode about like trying to figure out what how much money you're willing to give up to get like an easier job that's less on your body, less mentally demanding, and things of that nature. And I think I'm just not there yet, because we have stuff we still trying to do financially. So it's just like once I get to a point where it's like, oh, I'm just worried about the bills, or as long as my bills is covered, like I'm fine, then maybe. But right now I'm like, I'm still trying to stack a tidbit. I'm still trying to stack a tad, and I'm also trying, I got stuff to do, and I don't know, I'm just not interested. So what I did tell them to do is that I said, y'all can call me when y'all need me, and y'all can go through my float team, like my scheduling team, and I'll come here to relieve y'all if y'all need assistance. So that's what I've been doing lately. And honestly, I did not think they was gonna call me this often. Like not even like 2 weeks after I finished that assignment, they was already calling me back because did somebody get sick? I don't remember if staff got sick or somebody else got sick, but somebody got sick and they was already asking for me to come back like 2 weeks. I was like, dang, I barely missed y'all for real. And then like I already knew I was gonna come back in a month or two, but I think it was 2 months, because one of the nurses that works there, she was going for a high school class reunion, so she like gave me the dates or whatever. So I said, okay, yeah, I'll put that on my schedule. But like it was before then, I was like, dang, like I know y'all miss me, but and then like even after I went there for that, like her baby got sick, so then I relieved her, and then somebody else. It was just it's always something. So I'm glad I did tell them like as needed, because it's like I'm literally making what I make with the float pool, but I'm going to the clinic to work and it's easy. You know what I mean? My only other problem with the current situation with that is that it does eat into my hours. So I would like to work 2 shifts a week, or 24 hours a week. But if I'm working like one shift at the bedside, my other shift at the clinic, like I'm gonna be short some hours. So then it kind of eats into that. So like I said with the previous statement, the dilemma there is, okay, like are you willing to miss a couple of dollars because you have an easier work week or what? But this is probably like the best case scenario, because like I said, I'm still getting the pay that I would get with the float pool, and then I'm going there um as needed. So it's kind of like I'm getting like a hybrid version. And that's the best that we could do right now. And I don't mind working the bedside. If it's just 2 shifts, it's really nothing. 3 shifts, I don't think I'll be doing that again for a long time unless I'm really just trying like 3 shifts full time. Like if I'm picking up 3 shifts because I want to go on vacation, I think that's one thing. But like having to work 3 shifts every week, I think I'm good on that for now. Like I think it's also a balance with like trying not to burn out from bedside because it's bedside and they just really just be pissing you off and it'd be too much going on. So I think I'm kind of like in my best case scenario right now for me. Y'all let me know down in the comments, like, what's your perfect work life balance? Like, are you a PRN, part time girly? Are you doing full time? What type of hours do y'all like to have? 8, 10s, or 12s? Like, I'm telling y'all, give me my 2 12s and I'll call it quits. Like I'm good. So I think if anything, I would be part time. Well, see, that's the even thing. I want no obligations. PRN, I just tell y'all what I want to do, and then I could cancel when I want. Like, see, I like that kind of life because I do a lot outside. Like, of course, now I got kid, but outside of my regular life, my family does a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff for church, so it's just a lot going on all the time. And with PRN, I'm able to play around with my schedule so that I can still meet the 9 weeks and the 9 shifts in 6 weeks, and then the 2 weekend requirements. So, and I don't have to work holidays like that. So, like I said, right now that's the best case scenario for me. But y'all let me know what y'all situation is and how y'all like it because it's definitely just interesting to see how people work their life out differently. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed this quick catching up episode. We look forward to speaking with you more. As I said before, the baby, she here to stay, because y'all just got to get used to it because is you a mommy's girl. Honestly, y'all, she normally is cool with like being on her own, doing her own thing. But like I said, I think it kind of has to do too because I worked yesterday, so I was gone the whole day. Similar to like the 8 hour shifts. I'm gone before she wakes up, and then I get home and she's going to sleep because now like her bedtime's like she really starts to wind down at 7 and low key kind of be asleep by 7:30. But Jordan usually keeps her up so we could see each other before when I get home, depending on like where I'm at and how traffic is. So she went to sleep like at 8 something last night, but I think that's what it is because she's been like attached today, and I'm like, I have stuff to do. But mommy loves you. I love the baby. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So sometimes y'all see her, sometimes y'all won't. Sometimes I'll be dressed, sometimes I won't. We'll see how life happens. But y'all go get these episodes though. So hey. So we'll see you guys later. Bye. Say bye, bye. Bye. Say bye.